Thanks for that buzzer beater analysis. Now we're going to look at the tournament history a little bit and see some of the best things that have happened in this tournament. First, let's look at top 5 comebacks, and then top 5 upsets, both this year and in the recent history.
Great comebacks are some of the intense moments that set March Madness apart from other sporting events. This year's tournament, the Nevada Wolfpack has been the king of comebacks. They came back from 14 down in the first round against Texas, and then from 22 down to beat Cincinnati, the number 2 seed. These were great comebacks, but let's look at the top 5 comebacks of all time. The best comeback ever was the Northern Iowa versus Texas Tech in 2016. The reason why it was the best comeback ever is because Texas Tech was down 12 with 34 seconds left in the game. Texas Tech tied up the game and sent it into 2 overtimes and went on to play Oklahoma in the Sweet 16 that year. Texas Tech beat Northern Iowa 92-88 in the year 2016. The second best comeback ever was the Illinois versus Arizona game in 2005. The reason why it was the second best comeback ever is because Illinois was down 15 with 4 minutes left to go in the game. Illinois was still down by 8 with a minute left. Illinois went on a 20-5 run to go and get all the way to the Final Four in that year. Illinois beat Arizona 90-89 in overtime, and Illinois went all the way to the Final Four that year. The third best comeback ever was the Kansas versus Memphis game. The reason why it was the third best comeback is because Kansas was trailing by 9 with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in the game. Kansas tied the game 2 seconds left with 2 seconds left in the game and sent it into overtime and won the game in overtime that year. That game was the national championship of 2008, so there was a lot of pressure in that game. The fourth best comeback ever was the Western Kentucky versus Mississippi Valley State. The reason why it was the fourth best comeback ever is because Western Kentucky was down 16 with 5 minutes left to go in the game. They went on and beat Memphis, but was defeated by Marquette in the second round of the tournament in the year 2012. The fifth best comeback ever was Duke versus Maryland. The reason why it was the fifth best comeback ever is because Duke was down 10 with 1 minute left to go in the game. Duke came back and tied the game and won the game in overtime. Duke went on and won the national championship 82-72 2 days later in the year of 2001.
March Madness this year is full of upsets, which have brackets busted. I'm going to be doing my top 5 upsets of this year. Number 5, Loyola Chicago beats Miami. Dante Ingram made the game-winning shot to beat Miami 64-62. This is my number 5 upset of 2018 because Loyola Chicago is number 11 and Miami is number 6. Usually, a higher seeded team ends up beating a lower seeded team. The reason Loyola Chicago had the opportunity is because Walker on Miami missed the free throw. Marquise Towns got the rebound and passed it to Ingram. Ingram shot it and made it spot on. The referees put 0.3 seconds back on the clock, but Miami could not get a shot off. Number 4, Loyola Chicago beats Tennessee. Loyola Chicago does it again. Number 11 versus number 3 seed is a big difference in seedings. Tennessee went on a 14-2 run with Grant Williams' jumper capping it off. Tennessee led with 10.5 seconds remaining. Loyola Chicago's Clayton Custer made a jumper but left 3.6 seconds on the clock. Tennessee tried to make a Hail Mary shot but missed. Number 3. The Tar Heels are the defending champs. Because North Carolina is the number 2 seed and Texas A&M is the number 7 seed, I think it's surprising that Texas A&M won by 21 points when North Carolina is the defending champs. North Carolina head coach called the Aggies the biggest team he's ever seen. Texas A&M has 4 players in their rotation that are 6'8" or taller. Texas A&M got more aggressive as for some reason North Carolina forgot how to shoot. Number 2. Florida State beats Xavier. This is a huge upset. Florida is the number 9 seed and Xavier is the number 1 seed. So this is my number 2 upset. Another reason is Xavier is the second number 1 team to lose in the tournament. Florida State got fouled. 2 free throws put Florida State up by 3. Another 2 free throws put the game out of reach, and Florida State pulled off the upset. Number 1, UMBC beats Virginia. This is the upset that has everybody's bracket busted. This is the first time a number 16 seed has beat a number 1 seed. UMBC went 12 out of 24 threes. Virginia only went 4 out of 22 threes. Jarvis Lyles was electric, making 28 points, 9 of 11 shots from the field.
March Madness has so many upsets. I'm going to tell you about the top 5 upsets of the past 10 years. Number 1, UMBC beats Virginia in 2018. UMBC beats Virginia by 20 points. This was the very first time ever that a 16 seed beats the number 1 seed in history. This game was very historical. Coming into the tournament, they went from the bottom to the top by winning this game. Senior guard Jarvis Lyles scored 28 points in the game. Number 2, Lehigh beats Duke in 2012. Lehigh beats Duke 75-70. Lehigh came into this tournament with a 27-6 record and beat Duke with a 28-7 record. Almost the same. The difference was that Duke was a number 2 seed and Lehigh was number 15 seed. Number 3, Middle Tennessee beats Michigan State in 2016. Middle Tennessee beats Michigan State 90-81. Michigan State was also expected to make the Final Four easily and then go on to win the tournament. Also, Michigan State lost to Middle Tennessee. Well, they had 25-10 and Michigan State had 29-6 as their records. Michigan State is the number 2 seed and Middle Tennessee is the number 15 seed. Number 4, Norfolk State beats Missouri 2012. Norfolk State beats Missouri 86-84. Missouri was a team that had thrived in the past years with their coach, Frank Haith. Norfolk had a record of 26-10, and Missouri had 30-5 as their record. Missouri had a 4-guard rotation featuring Marcus Denmon, Phil Pressey, Cam English, and Michael Dixon. Junior Norfolk State is a number 15 seed, and Missouri is a number 2 seed.
Number 5, Florida Gulf Coast beats Georgetown 2013. Florida Gulf Coast beats Georgetown 78-68. Georgetown was number 2 seed, and Florida Gulf Coast is a number 15 seed. Florida Gulf Coast was built in 1991, beat Georgetown after being created for only 21 years. Many people thought Georgetown would make it very far in the tournament, but fell short. Florida Gulf Coast's best player is Sherwood Brown, who makes on average of 15.5 points per game.
As we wrap up this section of our tournament preview show, let's take a look back at the game that most changed college basketball. It was 1966, and we're going to tell you about a great game.
Texas Western, the team that changed college basketball history. Texas Western changed college basketball forever because they were the only team to start 5 black players. At the time, in 1966, many thought that only whites could be good and disciplined at basketball. Texas Western changed this as they showed that even blacks could win. Because their coach pushed them until they threw up, not literally, it helped them move up in rankings and it helped them win the national championship. If you watch the movie Glory Road, you can see the coach was training them extra hard, but that training led them to victory, and they were the first black team to win the national championship, defeating Kentucky and legendary coach Adolph Rupp in the final game.